push out waves incredibly fast. So pushing out the initial wave is a good idea to just not have to deal with it. And a funny thing is, it's a Garen mid lane. What is a Garen doing in mid lane?
Yeah, we didn't actually take note of that coming out of the draft. I think like we were so focused on some of the Camille Galio synergy that I was like didn't do lane assignments from it. This is something that's a lot less standard that we don't see. There have been a couple of external tournaments recently where we've had some of the meta play itself out. So kind of interesting to see how that plays out. But both teams are going to kind of feel each other out for the beginning of the game. The game is quite quick, so don't expect to have too much downtime between these two teams. But it is going to be first gank potential for Graves on this bottom side if he comes into lane, but really hard to gank the Orianna Braum. Like, they have so much zone control. You're going to try it. You're going to try and make it work. Flash forward into the bottom lane with Galio. Not quite enough. They will get a flash out from Orianna, though. Big summoner used.
Yeah, and our nation just flashes away. You know, he's like, I don't want to deal with it. But in the mid lane, if we look at Savira on the Ahri, he can just easily push out the Garen if he wants to. But we have a fight in the jungle.
Oh, fighting over first crab of the game on bottom. There's the charm, lands onto Graves. They're going to get damage down as the taunt does land on 3. Corki not quite into the fight yet. First blood goes over to Fran on that Braum. A big first fight already early on in this game.
Yeah, big fight already early on. We see the Fiora and the Camille fighting. There's really not that much happening right there. The problem that I have with Wygers is that Michele is going to have a very hard time pushing out that mid. And as you can see, Ahri is rotating yet again while he has a wave under his turret.
Yeah, and Patterson's here as well, as is Lumunia on that Lee Sin. And Lee Sin is just like one of these super active early game junglers who will just try and fight you over everything. And you can see he'd already got a bit of a gold lead to start this game off.
Yeah, definitely got a bit of a gold lead, and we can clearly see that Wygers is struggling with this mid lane matchup. Ahri is just able to really do whatever she wants. Like right now, she's freezing the lane. If Garen steps up, if Michele steps up, she just goes on him. She deals damage and goes out. If she wants to push out the wave, boom, throw an orb and you push out the wave.
Yeah, this is a really interesting trend from the VODs that I watched of Wygers. Like, I mean, Garen's going to do a little bit better when he can go out into the solo lane once the neutral objectives spawn at 4 minutes, but like this early part of the game, you're right, like Ahri just gets to free push the lane and then go and be in fights. So if they can get a couple more kills like this game will snowball very quickly.
Yeah, this game will definitely snowball if they can, and they have the Lee Sin paired up to do that as well. I want to talk about the first dragon though, because Wygers has a Corki, and what happens is Corki gets the package for the first dragon. They have the insane engaged composition. You can see they all have their ultimates ready. You know, when Galio and Corki are gonna reach level 5, they should not use these ultimates for the dragon. That would be their moment to absolutely destroy Zero Zone. And what I would like to see from Zero Zone personally is if they just abandon the dragon and go for the Rift Herald or a turret, because I really feel like they cannot take that fight this early on with Wygers against that composition.
I think that's a really fair point, and something you always have to keep a track of is that package timing, especially from the Corki perspective, right? You need to be able to recall and get it before the fight. One thing that I do worry about a little bit for the Wygers comp is like, I don't know how good these very early fights are when they need items on the likes of like Camille and Corki to really have that damage output early. Whereas like Lee Sin just walks in, he's going to do a ton of damage and kill your carry, right? Like it might be a misbalance, but like the gold is already racking up on the side of Zero Zone.
Yeah, and the problem indeed that Wygers has is having to do with that Lee Sin. Because sure, Camille can ult, sure, she can set up the ultimate for Galio, but what can Lee Sin do? He can kick away the Camille. And that's why Lee Sin is such an amazing pick, because he can, if he's quick with his reactions, he can just kick away the Camille, and he is going to kick her out of her ultimate, and then, of course, you know, you can just escape the Galio ultimate.
Yeah, and it looks like Zero Zone are going to do exactly what you were talking about. They heard the Corki package sound. They're going to handshake these objectives. That's kind of how we refer to it when, you know, red side take one, blue side take the other. These early ones, don't fight over if you don't need to. So it's going to be Rift Herald going over to Zero Zone, Ocean Drake going over to Wygers. So we're in this phase of the game now where a lot of the time the bot lane carries or the dragon lane carries will sit in the middle lane and just farm the wave and make sure that it never pushes their tower, and it allows the junglers to just go from lane to lane and get any work they can done through the jungle.
Yeah, and really, really well played by Zero Zone here. They identified the composition of Wygers. They understood, hey, we don't need to go for this dragon, even though it's actually probably one of the most important dragons, and we have a fight in the mid lane.
3 versus 2, Braum jumped forward, but I don't know that there's much to stand behind, as they are going to hold a lot of the ultimates. Real good patience there from Zero Zone not to just blow their ultimates right away.
Yeah, definitely. They knew, okay, we're alive anyway, so don't have to blow our ultimates. And yeah, they're just chilling, getting to that late game. As you can see, Zero Zone, all of them have finished an item. And Weiger's nearly finished the items. Camille's going back right now. Extreme is going back to get that Trinity Course. We just have a little skirmish right there. Not much going to be happening because, yeah, it's a Garen. But they've swapped lanes. Interestingly, they've swapped lanes.
Yeah, there's a full swap here with those duo lanes heading towards mid. Now it's going to be a roam up towards the top side. Graves is going to get spotted out with the ball from Orianna, but they actually don't want to engage because that Galio ult can bring Galio into the fight and even the numbers up so quickly. So Zero Zone playing it patiently, but this composition from Weigers has the ability to turn fights quite quickly.
Yeah, and the thing is, they both have solid late game compositions. But I would argue that Weigers has an even better late game composition because they have that insane engage. They have the Camille, who's an unbeatable late game champion. And I really feel like Zero Zone is trying to rely a little too much on the Orianna. Sure, they're gold ahead, but I don't know if you can do that, Stress.
Yeah, this is, believe it or not, is a bit of a slower game than we normally come to expect in Wild Rift. Like, normally you've had like 3 team fights by this point. So I think any composition that has like an Ahri and a Lee Sin would love to get those early kills. In goes Lee Sin to try and get one for himself, forces the flash out of Corki. We'll see if they can loop back on that, but this is a good opportunity for that Rift Herald.
Yeah, they dropped the Rift Herald, and we can see that Weigers is ready to defend. They're not going to get a turret out of it, very likely. As we can see, they go in for a fight.
Oh, they do land the taunt on 3 people. Shockwave doesn't really do too much. They're going to throw the Braum ult onto it as well. I think this might be an overextension if they stick around because look, Garen is closing in, as is Camille, although Camille now caught out on the side by Patterson. That's the kill going on to Graves as Labunya picks up one under Lee Sin, flashes himself away, and should be able to get back out of this fight now. Oh, Garen locked in position for a little while, will get taken down, and it's all Zero Zone so far.
Oh, all Zero Zone so far. They kind of wasted their ultimates in the beginning of that fight, but it ended up working really well for them. And I'm saying wasted, but they did get some of the members from Weigers at a very low amount of HP, which they were able to finish them off. And now they're getting a mid lane turret as well. This is massive for Zero Zone. This is the advantage that they needed. This is the gold lead that they needed. Actually, they don't get the turret. Huh.
Yeah, it stays at 200 health. It's difficult on that Orianna once the enemy team is back out, but they will push onto bot lane. They've got to be careful they don't overstay because look at that minimap. There's 4 members of Weigers heading bot lane. It's going to be 400 health on this turret as well. So 2 objectives they've not quite been able to secure. Neutral objectives coming up in about 40 seconds time. So they have to reset, get their items, get healthy, and get back out on the Rift.
All of Weigers' towers have no HP. Like, take a look at the Baron lane, mid lane, bot lane tower. They all don't have HP. And this is free gold for them. They want to take those turrets as fast as possible because taking a turret, securing a turret, gives a lot of gold and experience to you and your teammates. So Zero Zone should definitely be looking to get some of these turrets, especially when the new objectives are spawning. The new Dragon, the new Rift House. They can try to look for those turrets instead.
Yeah, and at this point, like, Corki's just recalled, well, was trying to get the package, did get his recall denied. That is actually a significant thing not to have for Corki, especially as Zero Zone are going to cut down into this dragon. Perfect timing on this if they actually started away. Corki does get the benefit of the extra movement speed, so he should be around for the beginning of the fight, but it's going to be the inverse objectives taken this time around. It'll be Weigers taking the Rift Herald, Zero Zone taking a Mountain Drake for themselves. That might help. There's, mixed damage on Weigers, but no real tanks on Zero Zones. They could use that tankiness.
Yeah, so interestingly, Weigers went for the Rift Herald. What I like to say is when you have a stronger composition than the enemy, you want to go for a fight. And I don't quite understand why Weigers went for the Rift Herald. They want to take a turret, of course, but they can fight. They have the Corki package, they have the Camille ult, they have the Galio ult. Why are they not fighting at the Mountain Dragon? They can just easily take it, fight, get some kills, take the Dragon, and take the Rift Herald stress.
Yeah, it's a good question. I wonder how afraid they are of this Orianna, she has 2 items done. She's not that far ahead, about 600, 700 gold over the most fed carry. So that is pretty strong, but we're not at that point of the game yet when Orianna can just like blow someone up immediately. So fair question to say, but like this gold lead has exploded over the last couple of minutes. So certainly Weigers feeling like Zero Zone are in full control, but without Weigers fighting, how can they ever get back in this game?
It's going to be really hard for them to get back into the game, except for the perfect engage like we talked about. But yes, as you said, Orianna doesn't have that damage yet, but very, very soon she will. She already has 2 items. She has the Rabadon's Death Cap, and very soon she's going to do insane damage to this composition of Weigers.
Yeah, Patterson's going to try and just get the tower from underneath Camille. Oh, Camille, you can only lock one of them down, and it's not going to be enough as the Sonic Wave does connect, allows Lee Sin to pick that up. Now Galio, a little bit stuck 1 versus 2. The rest of the team are trying to close in on mid lane. A lot of damage to be done to this Garen before you take him out, so this might be a bit of an overreach from the side of Zero Zone. Maybe they go for the Galio instead. Fiora going to try and get it, but Corki turning damage. That charm, is it going to land? Will hit onto Corki under the turret, but can't quite put the damage down. Shockwave plus the Braum ultimate, but nothing is quite there to pick up the kill.
And we can see all over the board, Zero Zone is just dominating every single lane. And I want to talk about Severo and Patterson as well. They are both champions that have true damage, and they are going to be able to deal with the Garen. So even though Garen can tank up a lot of damage, these are champions that can deal with the Garen. And I'm sure Patterson and Severo know that they have to be the ones to focus down the Garen, because that true damage is going to absolutely shred through his HP.
Well, we've had all 3 of those outer towers taken in favor of Zero Zone, now up to just about a 7,000 gold lead. It's going to take a pretty important fight for WYG to come back into this, and this Camille just hasn't had the presence of a first pick that we would like to see from a Camille. Like, a lot of her strength comes from being able to pick off one target out on a side lane before a fight ever starts, and then coming into a fight and like getting that angle in. But when you're behind, it's so hard to do on Camille.
Yeah, definitely, it's really hard. We see all 5 of them here. They might try to dive, but yeah, they actually go for the Rift Herald push. And the thing is, right now, Zero Zone, every single one of their members have 2 items, except for the support. But they all have 2 full items. Yeah, Rift Herald doesn't even do anything. WYGers, on the other hand, none of them have 2 items yet. So this is a massive advantage for Zero Zone. They need to look for the fight now. Like, they need to be the aggressors right here now.
Yeah, and it's so hard when, like, one of your options is, okay, we drop the Rift Herald and we force somebody to get it, and if they're not all there, maybe we can take a fight. Well, all 5 members are there, the Rift Herald dies, doesn't even get a charge. So, really tough spot to be in. Braum is going to get silenced as he's in the brush. Hits the Krug, not really the target he was looking for on that Winter's Bite, but Zero Zone are going to back themselves away. Fiora on the side lane is so strong compared to Camille. This could end up being a bit of a split push game while the rest of the team disengage. This team setup does lend themselves towards like a 1-4 in PC terms, where like you disengage with the rest of the team while Fiora does work on the side.
Yeah, and I really like that Zero Zone is doing that, especially in this draft, because we know that WYGer's composition is supposed to have a 5-man fight, right? Camille engages, Galio follows up. If you don't have the Camille engage, it makes it infinitely weaker. So I really like the fact that Patterson on the Fiora has decided to split push instead.
Yeah, it really rips WYGers around the map. They're going to focus topside here. They're sacrificing the dragon to try and get the tower. There's no way they start Baron. Zero Zone is so close that this would be suicidal to do it. So they must just be looking for the top lane tower here. But look, Fiora's already there. Braum's already there. Orianna may be caught, though. There are 4 members here surrounded. Can they get a good disengage for a moment from Braum? And how did nobody die there? How did Orianna not get caught out? They still are under the tower, and here comes the rest of Zero Zone as it's the first kill nearly going over to Fiora. Will get the kill onto Corki. Manages to stasis to keep himself alive, and this has gone disastrously wrong for WYGers. It looked so good. It was a 5 versus 3, and it's all 5 members of WYGers dead as Zero Zone clean ace and take the Baron.
Oh my god, our nation with the stasis enchant coming in clutch. WYGers thought that they had a free kill right there. As you saw, they all flashed on the Orianna. They all flashed on our nation. Our nation was like, nah, I'm just gonna stasis enchant. My whole team is behind me. He flashes away, and as we can see in this replay, he's in the stasis enchant right there. Flashes away from it under their turret, and now they cannot do anything anymore. WYGers has no opportunity to get any kills under the turret of Zero Zone, and here it's just a cleaning game, right? Severo on the Ahri just cleans the fight up. Galio with the ultimate, that's way too late. Basically, WYGers thought that they had a free pick. Our nation thought otherwise.
Yeah, there's certainly not a free pick. It looked like it. It should have been, maybe, but that stasis, too strong, too powerful to keep Orianna alive. That's one of the most frustrating things when you're trying to like go on one person and they stay alive. A clean ace, 9 kills to 0. 0 turrets taken by WYGers to the 3 so far from Zero Zone, and now that they have the Baron buff, these towers are going to melt very, very quickly. Top tower already down. They'll focus next on mid tower, and look, the health bar's already half health. Lee nearly hit Corki, looking like he was going to go in. A little bit of flashy dash back out with that safeguard. But here, WYG, they're going to throw one last roll of the dice. Ari is taking an inhibitor at the same time on the bottom side. So all it was a little tease around the base. It wasn't quite enough to actually get a fight started. And that first inhibitor of the turret is down.
Wow, Zero Zone is just playing this perfectly. Wygers has no chance, and Garen just gets caught and dies. Wygers has no chance. They have no chance to win this game. Like,
it's gone from bad to worse from WYG. They haven't been able to put a single kill on the board. Not even the Nexus is going to secure a kill for them, as the stasis is enough to keep them at 12-0 for now. It is the Nexus falling